Hi, it's Jenny D with Dr. Kohli from 9 News and her own practice, Cherry Creek Health. She comes in to kind of help us remember and know all the things that we have been taught growing up to protect ourselves from the flu, all these viruses going around. One of the things we wanted to do today was fact or fiction. All right, so first, number one, how about taking vitamin C if you feel a cold coming on? Is that something that helps?
Do you do this?
No.
I have a lot of friends that do this. So this is actually fiction. So the data tells us that if you take vitamin C chronically, it can help shorten the duration that you're sick. But if you feel that cold coming on and start popping all that vitamin C, the emergency, it's really not going to do much to help the cold, the duration, or the fact that you're infected.
Woohoo! I got that one right. Okay. Zinc shortens the duration of a cold. Is that fact or fiction?
So here the data is a little bit mixed. And so some people say that within the first 24 hours, if you take zinc can help reduce a replication of rhinovirus, which is a virus that causes the common cold, and it can boost our immune cells. So in some trials, it's actually shown to have a positive benefit on shortening the duration. But other trials actually didn't show much of a benefit. And in every trial, patients had a lot of gastrointestinal side effects and problems with zinc toxicity when taking really high doses. So overall, the scientific community says, forget about the zinc, just use the regular lozenges and just make sure you hydrate and get lots of sleep. And that's the best way to beat that cold.
All right. Did not know that one. How about ginger helping to treat a cold?
I love this one. And so the way that it helps is it helps the symptoms. So it doesn't help the duration of infection, and it doesn't actually help you or prevent you from getting infected. But once you're infected, it really does help treat the symptoms because ginger has both antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties.
Okay.
And it also helps with nausea. So a lot of times when we have a cold or something, we have kind of that nausea feeling. We're taking the medicines that make us feel sick too. So it helps settle your stomach with that too. So I love either a nice ginger tea or some ginger and honey kind of ground up in some water. I love doing that when I'm sick because it helps in so many ways.
I like that. Feed a cold, starve a fever. This one's one that growing up was always told.
So this is a fiction.
Oh.
So really when your body is fighting an infection, whether it's through fever, whether it's through any upper respiratory symptoms, the immune system releases these chemicals called cytokines that turn off our appetite. They make us feel nauseated because guess what? The body needs to have all hands on deck for the immune system. And it can't be busy digesting heavy things. So you really want to be careful about how you eat when you're sick. And you essentially want to, give your stomach a break. And you want to follow the cues. So the most important thing I always say is even if you're not feeling hungry, it's hydration.
Okay.
And you want to make sure you're looking at the color of your urine. You need to go every 2 to 3 hours, and it needs to be light yellow or clear. If it's getting dark yellow or it's starting to turn kind of brown or orange, you're really falling behind. So follow your body's cues when it comes to your appetite. Don't force yourself to eat too much.
Okay.
Knowing, of course, that you're going to have to do some damage control when you do feel better. Because sometimes you end up getting a little weak if you don't eat a lot of calories. But don't force yourself to eat because that's not good for your body.
All right, so that's fiction. Take that one, Mom. Hot tea with honey helps a sore throat.
Yes. So I don't know if you've had any recent sore throats, but this is a great way to soothe the throat. And so what the heat does is that it changes the swelling, which is called edema in the throat. It also causes an analgesic effect. So when you're drinking that, it kind of numbs the back of the throat as well. And what the honey does is it really coats the cells. So if you think about what happens to us when we have a sore throat, our mucosa, which is the lining of the inside of our throat, it's got little tears in it, essentially. And that sometimes can trigger a cough as well. And so drinking that honey can really help kind of coat that lining of the throat, really help soothe that cough reflex as well. And of course, that hydration, it's got a little sugar in it too, which is nice as well when your body's fighting an infection. So I love this home remedy.
I was going to say this one I do. I do this one a lot, especially with what we do and talking all the time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Another one that my mom used to say, going out with wet hair or not enough warm clothes gives you a cold.
This is sort of true.
Really?
Yeah. So Mom is kind of right on this one. So not completely in the sense that you're not going to be more likely to get infected. You'll still be the same risk of exposure. But when your body goes into what's called a cold stress response, so let's say your hair is wet, you're not adequately covered, and you're standing outside and it's 30 degrees, your immune system gets suppressed transiently.
Okay.
And that can happen pretty quickly. You can also get cracking of the mucosa, like in your nose and in your mouth when the air is very dry or it's very cold, especially especially if you're losing a lot of heat through your head, your body starts to kind of close off the blood vessels to divert the blood so that it can keep the core warm.
Yep.
And we know we lose a lot of heat through our head. So if your hair is wet, you're losing that heat. On top of that, you're standing in cold, dry climates. What it can do is cause the mucosa to crack, which can cause the bugs to get in a little bit easier. And it can cause a non-specific immune suppression, which means if you're exposed, then you're more likely to get sick. So it's not directly making you sick, but if you do get exposed, it's going to make you a little bit more likely to get sick. So
I'm
dry
guilty
that hair.
This one. I know. Yeah. I'm guilty this one because I'll get up and I'll take a shower and it's dark, it's early. I'm like, I'll just do it when I get, okay. All right.
But cover your head.
All right, Mom.
Yeah, get a nice, cute little hoodie or something.
There we go. Steam inhalation clears congestion. Is this fact or fiction?
I love this one too. But you just have to make sure that whatever you're using to aerosolize the steam is nice and clean. Because what you don't want to do is put mold deep into your lungs. And so sometimes people use these machines that you can get at Walmart or Target or whatever that are dirty, that have dust and mold and what have you. And then they're aerosolizing that into their lungs. So that I don't like. So I think something as simple as just boiling a pot of water and then inhaling some of that steam, it really does loosen a lot of those secretions. And when it comes to either our nose or our lungs, the secretions can get impacted or stuck. Okay. That's why we feel that congestion.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And so normally we'll squirt some Afrin in and try to decongest ourselves by squeezing down the blood vessels, but that's not as safe a way to do it as to actually loosening up the secretions and then mobilizing them, meaning coughing them up or blowing them out of your nose, because then you're actually clearing them a lot faster.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hydration and sleep are the most effective treatments.
I think you know this one.
Yes.
Always.
We've always talked about this.
And
for
it's
sure.
not just when you're sick, even when you're not sick.
Yeah.
Because that is the best way to give some TLC to your immune system, is making sure you're keeping that stress down. You're making sure you're staying hydrated and getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, because you do that on a chronic basis and it's really good for you. On the other hand, drinking too much alcohol, not getting enough sleep, living in a fight or flight response all the time, that turns our bone marrow off to stop making immune fighting cells and does chronically immunosuppress us. So,
all right. I need sleep. I'm like, I feel like I was about, out of the 8 of them, I got like,
you got some of them?
I got some of them.
Yeah. But they'll come in handy
They will.
when you have those colds this year.
All right. And I got to give credit to my mom, because you were right on at least one of them. All right, Dr. Kohli, thank you so much. You can check her out at Cherry Creek Heart, or, of course, she's on 9 News as well.